Okay, so boom, y'all already know what time it is. You are now tuned in with Big Joe and Lil Joe, and we're about to get it in, man. First and foremost, y'all already know what time it is. Pops want to holler at you one quick second.
Man, what's up, y'all? I want to say thank you to everybody that sent me happy birthday wishes or anything, or any money, anything that anybody. Man, look, it touched me real deep. I want to thank y'all for that. Especially some of y'all, especially, my son gonna get at you directly for me. You know what I mean? But I really appreciate all of y'all, all the support out there. Thank y'all for that. It made my birthday in here a little bit more special under these circumstances, man. No doubt about it. Appreciate that.
That what's up, man. And I don't never have a topic, but man, I was just sitting here thinking some of the questions that I seen in the comment section before. One of them I want to hit on. I can't remember the lady name, but the lady was saying that she had basically dated this guy and had basically held him down while he was in prison. I think for about 8 or 9 years. I wish I could remember her name in the comment section. And she was saying she pretty much played the role and did everything she was supposed to do as a woman who was basically by her man's side, who was locked up. You know what I'm saying? As far as visits, money on the books, if she needed to call the administration because something wasn't going right, you know what I'm saying, to help him, you know what I'm saying, follow up on some things and do some things that he ain't able to do because he locked up. Like, she did the whole nine. And he came home and he dipped on it. Her question was, how do women or men who may be holding down women in prison, how do you know if it's real? And I don't even want to say, is it because people hold down people that they already know who went to jail or prison, and people meet people while they're in jail and prison. But it don't matter. She was asking, how do you know if it's real? Because my daddy, if I ain't mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, like your longest relationship in there was over 10 plus years.
13 years.
13 years, that's what I thought it was. It was 13 years, and now I think it's going on 10.
Yeah, it is, no doubt.
Going on 10. Okay, with that being said, like, because you would be pretty much in that boat with this lady was explaining, but you haven't came home yet to, you know what I'm saying, to how would a woman know if it's real or not dating a man in prison?
Okay, one thing that I would look for is that have you been through anything real? You know what I mean? A lot of times when you're in here, you try to avoid conflict with whomever you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? If something's going on at the house, when it's good and everything, you might get into a little argument. I'm talking about something real gut-wrenching that will make you do a gut check and say, do I really care about this person? You know what I mean? And I've been through a situation or two like that, and I had to make a choice. And that's the way that I believe that, you know what I'm saying, the woman that I'm with now, how she knows that it's real. I got put through some things that were traumatic for me, and I dealt with it. And I was being told, to walk away, leave it alone, this and that. And I know my family, they love me, and everybody that would tell me they love me, but I said I didn't want to. And like I said, one of the ways that you can tell is got to be something that you've gone through, conflict. How do you deal with a problem with the individual? Because most of the time, like I say, when you're in here and you're dealing with somebody on the streets, you don't want to make them mad at you. You don't want to say anything that they disagree with. And that is not a good sign, because you're not going to agree on everything when you get out. You're not going to be able to deal with situations that come up by avoiding them. And people in here, a lot of the time, they avoid them. And then, honestly, sometimes you just can't tell, because the truth of the matter is you might be dealing with a true sociopath. You might be dealing with something. Go ahead.
My bad, cause let me ask you this, because let's rephrase it like this. Okay. What are some of the red flags I think a person can look at? Now with me, like, I've had sellers who run game on women. They know for a fact they not coming home and want to be with them. I've watched dudes at Visit who was in other units that when women come up there that they know for a fact they don't want to deal with them when they go home, but they want to get their visits. And you know what I'm saying, when it comes to the manipulation and the mindset of surviving in there. Now, I'm going to say this before I let Pops answer it. I'll say about 65% of the men in there, especially if they got some time under their belt, 5 years or better.
Right.
When they got a woman that they've been riding, the woman that's been riding with them, and they start talking about things they want to do when they come home, they actually mean that. They mean what they saying.
Yeah.
The reality of a relationship and a commitment and getting back stable as a man is what shatters their reality when they come home. And I don't think a lot of them can process emotionally what's going on, because why? Because men are naturally providers. Men, you know what I'm saying? And some men, when they realize they can't be that what the Most High has created them to be, they don't know how to say that or know how to communicate that. And they mind, and they automatically go in flight mode automatically. And because I've had women who rode and held me down that I knew, you know what I'm saying, I didn't want to be with them, didn't want to deal with them. And I've you know what I'm saying, and I've played on that. But I've also talked to women I know, man, if I had this opportunity, I'd do it. Even though I didn't come home to none of them, I started dealing with a woman who was well together. And even though this is something I desire, family, you know what I'm saying, being family oriented and doing things and doing this and that, I literally realized I'm not in the place as a man, and it shattered their reality, and you automatically go in flight mode.
Yeah, well, it takes a certain level of emotional maturity, man, and if you don't have that, you get to that level of emotional maturity under these circumstances through conflict, through things that rub you the wrong way, and how you deal with them. But it's not like you hide who you are from another person. It's just that they're not paying attention to the signs that you're showing. You know what I'm saying? And when you start to pay attention, you put it like this: if you're dealing with if you're a woman out there, you're dealing with somebody in prison. Mm-hmm. You can love them, you can open your heart up to them, but be skeptical about every conversation you have, and be curious about what they're saying. Question it, and base how they respond to you on whether you think that you want to be with this person or not. And don't make the commitment until you understand that. Because once you make that commitment, you're going to open all the way up.
Right.
And that person might not be the one. Because at the end of the day, people in here, again, like you just said, and like what I'm saying, that level of emotional security, the emotional maturity that they don't have because of the circumstances in the life that they led and the things that's going on in here, they may not be ready. And let me say another one real quick, because you might have another question for me. Another thing is this, man, and I'm not trying to be judgmental about anybody, because people get to where they get to in the pace and the process that they get there. It's dealing with them in the Most High. If you are not dealing with the issues that brought you to prison, and when I say the prison, I mean that mental prison. If you're not dealing with the issues that brought you to that mental prison that manifested into the physical prison, this person is not ready yet. You have to make that transition mentally into becoming a person that wants to take on responsibilities, that wants to be accountable, wants to be held accountable by the person that they're with, before you can actually be involved in a real relationship. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you're not there yet, I'm not saying that some people won't be able to get out of here and transition into a lifestyle that allows for them to be responsible and all this thing, but I don't believe anymore. I do not believe anymore that a person that is living a criminal lifestyle, that lives a lifestyle based on that ideology, can be a person that is responsible in a way that they can be intimate and open up and share their life with somebody else. Because that mindset, that ideology is a selfish mindset, a selfish ideology, and it's almost impossible for you to reconcile being in a relationship where you're committed and you care about the other individuals in a way that you would sacrifice for them.
Right.
Because when you live in that lifestyle, it's hard to sacrifice for them when it comes down to, do I do this or do I stay home? Do I take them out to eat or do I go down the highway and pick up this pack? You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's another thing. But go ahead. I ain't want to take up too much.
That was a good perspective, man, because, you know, the end of my sentence I was out of the life. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't dealing with nobody that I was constantly trying to get them to do stuff. Like I had dealt, like what you said, like the person need to deal with the reasons why they came to prison. It might not be that exact charge. It's the mindset that got you. It's the mindset that got you in trouble. The criminal mindset, the atmosphere, the people that you surround yourself with. Because birds of a feather flock together. Like you could tell. I think any woman or any man who talking to anybody incarcerated, you should be able to tell in that person's conversation that which direction they going. But it's hard, I'm gonna be honest, it's hard dealing with an inmate because the level of manipulation could be different. So really, it's a roll of the dice. You rolling the dice.
It's a roll of a dice.
It's a roll of the dice.
But here's the thing though, boo, with all sincerity. See, when a person comes in here, their mindset switches to one of survival. And
right.
Manipulation becomes one of the tools in the toolbox of that survival. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's what I mean by the emotional immaturity. It doesn't allow you to be intimate. And see, a lot of people confuse intimacy with physical touch. It's not about that. It's intimacy and opening yourself up to be vulnerable and saying, look, I can't handle what's going on with what I did. I put myself here, I messed up, and I'm going to need some help. I don't want to have to call home and lie. I don't want to have to manipulate and have 2 or 3 women to talk to get me through my emotional insecurities. I want to do that with you. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people in here find it hard to be able to say that in this environment because they're trying to survive. I really believe that most people that I have met have forgotten that it's wrong to manipulate, it's wrong to do this, and it's wrong to do that in the way that they equate it with just surviving. You see what I'm saying? They think that's just surviving, but you're being selfish. You're taking advantage of people and so on and so forth. And they've done it for so long that is how they get down. Right. And when you talk to them about, look, bro, that ain't straight, they go like, no, I'm doing me. You feel me? Go ahead, dog.
And see, another thing, I think you gotta pay attention to how much that person that's incarcerated or locked up, that loved one, is considerate of your time. That's another red flag. Like, if they not considerate of that you have a life, real life outside of prison. It may be kids, it may be job, and if they're impatient on levels that just ain't showing no consideration, that's a major red flag. That's, you know what I'm saying, when you get into the manipulation. If they don't care why you didn't answer the phone, and it ain't, you know what I'm saying, I know
too controlling.
It get controlling. If it ain't I know you ain't answered the phone earlier, you know what I'm saying, I was kind of worried about you, but you know what I'm saying, I was hoping everything was all right. I know you probably was kind of busy. Like, if they ain't saying the things that are showing that they considerate of your time, you know what I'm saying, that's something you gotta watch out for. And then, like, if you gave them your word on, you know what I'm saying, you just drop it on the bed. If you gave somebody your word that's locked up, and you may not make the deadline or couldn't do it, or you forgot, and you communicate, well, baby, I forgot, you know what I'm saying, my bad, you know what I'm saying, is it too late to take care? Can I take care? And that person go in a rage, man, I told you I need this and that. That's a major red flag. That's another.
And another one.
Go ahead.
Another one, you're right. Another one is if they're not considerate of your finances.
Yeah.
If they put their well-being on having money on their books, phone, and all of that before you can pay your bills and all this and that, that is a major red flag. Because all what you just said and what I just said, all of those things fall into the category of selfishness.
Right.
This person is selfish. They don't really care about you. A person that really cares about it wants to be with somebody when they get out of here will sacrifice and understand.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Because life goes on out there. Life goes on, and you gotta live your life out there. If you're not happy out there, then, and this person here is putting you in a position where you're not happy, want to take. That is a red flag. If you're in a relationship with somebody that's locked up and all they're doing is taking from you, trust and believe. That person really, really, really doesn't want to be with you.
Right. Yeah. Real talk. Because you wanna. It's the same thing on the street. You want to start the same way you want to finish. And you get into these situations with people who are incarcerated and locked up, and like my pop said, they ain't dealt with themselves, you know what I'm saying, or what landed them there, issues that they may have with their family. And you got to pay attention to that as well, you know what I'm saying. I know over time, you know, a lot of people go on with their life, but you can see how many bridges people have burned. You have to take that in consideration when everybody's gone and they have found someone on the outside who have entered into their life, because we do the same thing in prison, me and Will, and that's you turning on that charm, you love bomb, you calling, you seeming very considerate in the beginning until you get the person, and then it turns into me being able to see, because a lot of men and women in there, you know what I'm saying, you able to see when that wall has come down. And when they see that wall have come down, you know, it's blood in the ocean with sharks.
That's what it is. Exactly what it is. I look at it like you want to choose the person that you want to be with the same way that you would go about deciding what type of lifestyle you want to live. If you understand what that means, it's kind of like this. When people talk about who do you want, what type of person do you want to be, what kind of qualities do you want them to have? You want somebody that's going to be honest, funny, you know what I'm saying, take care of his money, so on and so forth, all of those types of things, right? Well, when you decide what type of lifestyle you want to live, you're going to live a lifestyle that's in the streets. Most people that live a lifestyle in the streets are not honest. Not because they don't want to be, you know what I'm saying, that they can't be, it's just because the lifestyle don't allow for that. You feel what I'm saying? So this is a red flag as to the type of person that you want to be in a relationship with. If you want to be in a relationship, with somebody that's honest and this and that, you got to challenge that person that you met that's in prison. Say, is this what you want with the rest of your life? And if they say no, and they might be just saying it to pop game, but if they say no, then you challenge them on that.
Mm-hmm.
Challenge them, because at the same time that you do that, you're really going to be helping them.
Mm-hmm.
You're really going to be helping them, whether they know it or not. Even if they're trying to connive and click when they say, no, I don't want to live this lifestyle, then you got to call them there.
Right.
You got to call them on that being selfish. You got to call them on all that kind of stuff, and you're really helping them. And then you can make a solid determination as to whether this is the type of person that you want to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't leave it to happenstance. Be intentional. That's what I would tell the lady. Be intentional about choosing who you want to be with. The same way you would go about it on the streets. Don't lighten up. Go about it the same way when you talk to somebody in prison. Be intentional. This is what I want, this is what I demand, and this is what it's got to be. And don't give in to that. Because when, like you just said, boo, when that wall down, and if that person is not genuine, it's sharks in the water.
It's on the popping, man. And you know, and that's the same way on the streets. And like we said a while ago, you know, and commercial break me, please. I literally got the t-shirt too. If you ain't got it, you can go to my website, jtb3.org. But this ain't about me, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know this about my boss, man. Hey, if you ain't already on his podcast, go check out his podcast. It's called Doing Time with Joe. The link will be in the description, and he spell it D-O-I-N, just in case you want to Google it. It's D-O-I-N, Doing Time with Joe. And it's streaming on all platforms. It's going to pop up SoundCloud, Spotify, you name it, it's going to be on there. You're going to be able to listen to it, man. And if you ain't checked it out, I'm telling you, you going to enjoy this. You know what I'm saying? If you're talking about kids, if you're talking about trying to understand the mindset of people when they come home, or what's going on with your loved ones while they going in there, things that they may be experiencing, that's my Pops podcast, I'm telling you, it's worth listening to, man. But the relationship thing, Daddy, man, it's a roll of the dice. It's really a roll of the dice. But I'm gonna tell you something. A man can come home and, like I said, mean every word he said, and he can realize. Open it. Let them in for me, cause we don't mind. And he can realize that he not where he thought he was emotionally. He not in the place that he wished he was, and he may not be able to communicate that, and with that alone, he'll probably just he'll tap out, or he'll go and do something illegal so he can try to show he can be that. because he might come home and see she the breadwinner, she's doing great. What do I contribute? What is my value? Because in locked up, it's easy to feel and know you're valuable because the level of knowledge and information, because of all of that time you get to sit. But that gets snatched off from under you when you walk out. The being able to give the advice, you still will be able to give it, but now you as a man, you feel there's another level that you have to get to, and then you feel like your contribution to the relationship is no longer what it used to be. And now you probably thinking, I got to do something to catch up so I can show up. You know what I'm saying?
Remaining.
Yeah, that's connected to that insecurity that the individual feels in the first place under the circumstances. And again, that emotional immaturity where you can help build them up. You know what I'm saying? In that regard, and push them right along, and it'll turn out okay. But it's still, any relationship is a 50-50 proposition, whether you're in or out. And it's harder when you're in, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like I say, go about deciding who you want to be in a relationship with the same way you would if you met that individual on the street, as much as you can. You know what I mean?
And y'all know what time it is. Pops, I know it's finna hang up. You finna call back?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna hit you right back.
But yeah, man, this is a good conversation. You know, I wasn't expecting it to go. I didn't realize how much information could go into talking about a relationship with being, you know what I'm saying, locked up. But it's actually more that probably could be talked about as far as what to look for, what's a red flag, what's a go, what's not. You know what I'm saying? With me, this is what I'm gonna say. The spiritual relationship with the Most High, their beliefs, how consistent they are in conversation talking about their relationship. Because with me, it's only one thing that I felt and know that was gonna keep me solid. You know what I'm saying? Even though I did deal with the emotional stuff, but I can't say this, I was able to communicate that to the woman at the time. Man, I didn't go flight mode on her. I didn't run off from the issues that I was facing. I dealt with them. We just didn't work out for other reasons, but I did experience it because, you know, before I came to prison, you know what I'm saying, I was this or I was that. And then when I come out and this woman is, you know what I'm saying, I realized I had to deal with that. Well, she helped me a lot too. She was able to, because if you're able to come home and communicate that, you give that person the opportunity to help guide you and let you know that they there with you. But I think the spiritual relationship with the Most High is most definitely a major factor. Hold on, Pop, because we got about 2 minutes. I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm finna get ready. But yeah, I was just saying, man, when you hung up, Pops, like, I think spiritual relationship with the Most High and their faith and what they believe in could play a major role as well. You know what I'm saying? They connection to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think that is, I personally think that is the most important aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not in line with the Most High, you're not going to recognize the humanity in the person that you want to be with. You're not going to see that individual as somebody that is deserving of it. So you might think you do. And the way that you're looking at it without that connection to the Most High is a way that you come up, you know, in the streets or whatever you saw as pattern from the household you grew up in or whatever. Mm-hmm. When you factor in the Most High, you see past those things that would cause conflict and you would flee, where your fight or flight would kick in. When you're dealing with the Most High and you understand the connection, then once you've made that commitment, you start to understand that, okay, this individual, when they do things or when you do things, you start to understand that this individual that I want to be with made a bad decision.
Right.
It's not that they are a bad person. And then you try to build and move beyond that. But when you don't have that connection with the Most High, when you are not centered and grounded in that, you will do what most people do. I'm done. It's
right.
over with. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, even with the connection with the Most High, that you should stay in our situation. I'm not saying that. You let God guide you on that. Because I'm most definitely not saying that a person should stay in a situation
right.
abusive or mistreating. I don't want anybody to misunderstand me on that. But I'll say for, you situations that do arise when you are incarcerated and you're in a relationship with somebody, you have that understanding and that connection to the Most High. It helps you understand things a lot better. You know what I mean? It doesn't make you a doormat or anything like that, but you see the humanity in another person, and that helps you in your relationship. It helps you be able to become a better human being too.
Right. Well.
Yeah.
Well, Pops, I'm finna get out and do some ripping and running, man. I ain't finna cut you off though. I'm just finna wrap this up real quick, man. I hope not only the lady that was asking the question got some kind of insight or got some kind of help to help her understand what may have happened, what you probably didn't get. I hope you got an answer to that. And another thing, man, I also want to tell everybody I appreciate them too for, not only just the birthday wishes, but the money that was sent to my Cash App, which I sent that to Pop too, man. So I just want to let y'all know I appreciate that, man. I appreciate y'all listening, because I know y'all listen because, you know what I'm saying, I know y'all be listening because of certain things y'all saying in the comment section. So I appreciate that as well. And like I said, if you ain't on his podcast, go check out the podcast. It's called Doing Time with Joe. You're going to enjoy his conversation, you know what I'm saying, and listening to my daddy's journey and how, you know what I'm saying, and how he's continued to grow even though. And I said that to say this. You have no excuse out here. Pops is, I'm trying to say this to encourage some folks. Pops has wrote books. He has a podcast. He's done multiple other things. He's had a clothing line since he's been incarcerated. He's always found ways to make sure he's growing, being productive, you know what I'm saying? And whether he in there or he's out here, one thing for sure, two things for certain, his mind is free. And he hasn't allowed his situation to put limitations on what he feels he's capable of doing. Now, does that mean he has to work with what he has? And that's what most people problem is out here. You don't realize you may not have as much money as you want to do what it is exactly you want to do, but work with what you have until you get there. And that's what Pop has always done. And that's another conversation we'll get on next time, because I know a lot of people be wondering, how is this and how is that and how is this and how is that. And he's always continued to work with, what he has available to him. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I appreciate that, boo, because that's the truth. You know what I'm saying? And I really appreciate, like, all the well wishes and all the happy birthdays and the money that people send me. I really do value that. I hold that close to my heart. I really do. Y'all just don't know. I can't even put it into words. Saying thank you is just not enough. I know that. You know what I'm saying? But I really do appreciate all of that. And like I said to you, I always appreciate you and doing these shows with me. I love you, man. And look, we'll do this again next week. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all already know what time it is.